Hello, everybody. So nice to see all of you. Hi. Hi. We're gonna wait a couple of minutes, but I wanted to tell you to grab a pencil. I decided we're going to use a pencil in addition to the other materials. And type where you're joining us from. We're gonna stay muted for the most part because I think we'll have a pretty big group. Where are you joining from, and do you have a solstice tradition? So, welcome, welcome. People are just hopping in, so I'm going to wait until 3 past the hour, and then we'll get started. Okay, Panama, Pittsburgh, Tampa, Sweden, Wisconsin, Virginia. Welcome, welcome. If you're just joining us, type where you're chiming in from, and I'm wondering if anyone has a solstice tradition. Oh, I see Sherry says, getting through winter without a furnace. Whoops, it flew by me. Sorry, a lot of people are typing now. Something like that. Canada, New York, Illinois. Welcome, everyone. Portland. Okay, Amy, they have a bonfire, oranges, and good time with friends. How lovely. Washington State, Christie, fire tradition. Solstice tradition. I don't know. So one more minute, we're going to wait as people hop on. If you don't have a pencil handy, grab a pencil. And yeah, I'm looking forward to making a little lantern with all of you. Thanks for showing up today, spending an hour with me. It's lovely to see everyone. You can type in the chat where you are chiming in from and if you have a solstice tradition. And I know tomorrow's the solstice. It's not today. We're getting ready for it. Okay, just waiting just a short another minute. My language, Helen. The recording will be available. Holland, hi, Yvonne. North Carolina, Maine. So fun. Okay, I'm going to get started. And let me just tell you what we're going to do. This meeting is being recorded, so if you need to go back and review anything, hopefully we'll all get the project made together, but it is being recorded and I'll send that to you by tomorrow. I am going to talk briefly about my membership program, the Paper Year. Some members are here and some of you maybe are interested and others are here just to make the project. So we'll all just spend a few minutes talking about that. I'll answer any questions you have. If you have questions, just please type them in the chat. I've got Lori here as my technical assistant. She'll be watching the chat and feeding questions to me. And then we'll make this tea light topper. And at the end, I hope you'll share. We can hold them all up and take a couple of screenshots. If we have time, we can look closely and pin some of you, spotlight some of you and see your lanterns. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. So I am going to do a quick keynote presentation about the paper year. So I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Helen, and I run a papermaking studio high up in Colorado's Rocky Mountains near Vail and Beaver Creek ski resorts in a tiny hamlet called Red Cliff. My artwork consists of installations like the giant lantern you saw behind me on Zoom, the Zoom screen, which is currently hanging in my local library, and artist books like this one called Intensio, filled with a series of string drawings that explore tension. the pulling force in physics. I hold papermaking master classes and an annual retreat in my studio every summer. This next summer, we'll be working with paper and thread at the retreat. And if you'd like to come work with me in person, the Red Cliff Paper Retreat will take place here in Colorado next August. There are several links in the chat, and one of those is for this retreat. In addition to making art, I have always been fascinated with paper as a material and all the ways that it can be manipulated. So I spend a good deal of my time designing unique projects, and I feature these in my how-to books. These kinds of projects are also the focus of the Paper Year. The Paper Year is a membership program that I started in January of 2021 to inspire members with a new technique and project every month. In addition to gaining skills for working with paper, members enjoy being part of a generous and friendly paper-loving community. If you join the Paper Year as a new member now, you will gain access immediately to all past projects in our growing library that currently has 36 projects, along with many other recorded events. And I want to share a few highlights from the last couple of months. We made triangle bags in October with guest artist Claudia Lee. Every quarter, I invite a guest artist to design a project for the group, and they also visit us for a Zoom meeting during that month to share more about their work. In November, we explored pleated paper wall hangings. Look how different each one looks. And this month, we're making a double pamphlet pocketbook. One of the things I love most about the Paper Year is seeing the way that members approach projects. Everyone is so unique, and it is truly inspirational and motivating to see what others are creating. Every quarter, we also have a surface design workshop, which is a 2-hour live online workshop. Our most recent one was with Julie Faith Van Balzer, author of Carve, Stamp, Play. And I know some of you are probably participating in Carve December that she runs on Instagram. She taught us how to design and carve our own simple rubber stamps and then use them to create unique repeat patterns. We share what we're creating each month in the online community forum in Rizuku, which is the teaching platform that I use. There are 2 ways to join the Paper Year. All of this is outlined on the registration page, along with a video about the Paper Year, and there's a link in the chat for that. But in brief, PDF subscribers will receive just that, a PDF with instructions for the month. All-in subscribers receive the PDF, video instructions, and a couple of monthly Zoom meetings. As you see here, you can pay by the month for either plan. And please note that this is a subscription, so you'll automatically be billed each month, but you can cancel at any time. And if you join between today and January 9th, you can sign up for the annual plan and get 2 months free. That's something the annual plan's only available at the beginning of the year. Here's an example of a partial PDF. These are available to download and or print out and save forever. And then the all-in plan has monthly videos. And as I've said, you will have access to a wonderful online community where we post photos of our work and provide supportive feedback. We meet on Zoom twice a month. We often have a special guest at our monthly Zoom meeting, which will either be a guest artist, a paper supplier, like the one coming up is Jennifer Rich from Oblation Papers and Press, or a surface design instructor. We also have a 2-hour monthly open studio Zoom session where you can carve out time to complete the monthly project, and we spend time getting to know each other and sharing paper tips and tricks. Here's a sneak peek of the projects we'll be doing in the first quarter of 2024, which begins on January 2nd. There's the new project always delivers. the first Monday of the month, and because New Year's is the first Monday, this will be a Tuesday. In January, we're making strip books, which can be assembled in a variety of ways with a variety of papers. The video you just saw featured a strip book. Our surface design workshop will take place at the end of January, and we'll learn about paper cutting with Mindy Shapiro as we cut a Hamza hand. A Hamza is a talisman from the ancient Middle East, which is thought to protect against the evil eye. In February, we'll explore this springy-legged robot designed by guest artist Emily Martin, who will visit our monthly Zoom meeting and tell us more about her work. Emily is a book artist. And in March, we'll explore a few map folds. Remember the paper maps we used to fold and unfold, and the innovative ways some of them were folded? I'm looking forward to that. I love map folds. So that's the paper year in a nutshell. Please visit the link that's in the chat to watch my video trailer, read more, and register. And I hope you'll join us as we continue to explore this versatile medium. So does anybody have any questions at this point, Lori?
I'm not seeing any.
Okay.
No.
So if you do anytime, just type them in the chat. I wanted to tell you a few fun facts about the solstice before we dive into making the lantern. So the solstice is named after the Latin words sol and sister, which means sun and to stand, referring to the day the sun stands still. And different communities and cultures came up with different ways to celebrate the day. Here are a couple of interesting ones. Neolithic Europeans built carefully aligned Stonehenge in England, which marks the winter solstice sunset, and Newgrange in Ireland, which points to the winter solstice sunrise. The pagans from Scandinavia and Germanic communities started the celebration of a winter holiday called Yule, a sun festival on the winter solstice. Several Middle Eastern communities celebrate winter solstice as Yalda night, gathering their families together to eat, recite poetry, and serve food that symbolize abundance, such as pomegranates. And here we are, gathered to create our tea light toppers to fill our own homes with light.
Helen, I've got 2 questions.
Okay. Can you stop the share? I can't.
Yes.
For some reason. Thank you.
Okay, the first question is, what days of the week are the workshops and meetings?
Okay, that's on the registration page. It's all spelled out, but so our Zoom meetings alternate. We have a monthly Zoom meeting that's either on a Thursday or a Saturday at noon Mountain Time, so this exact time. And then we have open studios on alternate Thursday, Friday, and they're from 10 to noon my time, so they're ending at this time. And then the workshops are usually on a Saturday. There's only one every 3 months, so you'll get plenty of notice. The next one's going to be on a Friday because of the instructor's schedule. So, but yeah, I try to give you a month warning on that.
But they are all recorded.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm going to vouch that Helen gets the recordings out very quickly. So if you can't make it live, you can see it very quickly. I mean, within hours, usually. Next question is, Betty wants to convert from monthly to yearly membership.
Yes, email me. That's the best way. We have to cancel your monthly and then you can re-sign up for yearly. And I try to do that around the date that your old subscription is ending, just so you have the most time.
Okay.
And depending on what Betty that is, I think I have you on my list to contact about that already.
Betty Abdu?
Yeah, I think we've talked about that, Betty.
Okay. She's going to email you.
Okay.
Okay. that is it.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I got.
Okay, cool. So we can switch over to my hands.
Mhm.
And I told those who were on a little early that you need a pencil. Grab a pencil if you don't have one. And then this is everything else I'm going to use. A sheet of paper, just one, and a glue stick and a bone folder. You don't have to have the bone folder, it just comes in handy. And I know you've seen the picture with, I just showed it, all the 6 of those lanterns. We are going to make a simple square one, but I'm going to show you how you would transform it into 6 variations. And if you're brand new to this, well, we'll just see. Let's just see how it goes. So, yeah,
Helen, there is one more question. If you have the PDF plan and you decide to upgrade later, will you get access to the earlier videos?
yeah, that's a great question. It's 2 separate like websites. So if you're in the PDF, that's all you get is PDFs. But if you change to the all-in, you get everything from all past 3 years. And then vice versa. If you're in the all-in and you go down to the PDF, you will lose the access to the videos and everything, but you'll still have access to all the PDFs from the beginning of the paper year. Okay, so let me just talk. I'm gonna get myself on speaker view so I can see. Yeah, everybody put it on speaker view so you see me, my hands nice and big. And I have got, this has a pattern on it. It's looking a little bit funny on my screen here. It's a very subtle pattern. You just need 1 sheet of letter size paper. It doesn't matter if it's a little bigger than 8.5 by 11 if you're in Europe or another country. So that doesn't matter. I'm just going to show you a few. So I've got some papers that I got from Washi Arts. These are printable Japanese papers. And I also had a link. It's in the chat and it was on the registration page for similar papers from Mulberry Paper and More. Those are 2 suppliers I order from quite a bit. You don't have to use white. All of my samples are white. I love white or off-white, but this is another paper. This is Hanji. So the paper I'm using just has a little bit of crispness. If you can just make this with office paper, copy paper. It's about that weight and crispness. So these just have different textures and patterns. Here's one with a little gray fleck. Yeah, so that's the paper. I'm just going to work with this. I want to work with this printed design.
It's mute.
Okay.
And okay, so hopefully everybody has their paper. We're going to dive right in. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to accordion fold this into 16 sections. I'm going to show you how I do it, and we'll just do it together. We're going to start with, if you have a print on your paper, you want it face up. And since this is so hard to see, I'm just going to make a little mark, couple of marks on mine. So that means this is the display side, the side that I want to be the front of my lantern versus the back.
Helen, there's a
Okay,
question.
and now I'm going to,
Sorry, there's a question. Does cherry work? CHIRI?
I think it'll work. It maybe doesn't have the quite crispness, but hopefully it'll work. I'm not exactly sure. I'm guessing you're meaning like an Asian paper with little flecks in it. So it should work. But if you run into any trouble, because we do have to do several folds, and if it doesn't seem to be folding precisely, just switch over to a piece of office copy paper and make the model in that. Okay, so face side up, I'm gonna fold this in half lengthwise. Hot dog fold. If you like to smooth out your folds, you can use a bone folder. You can use your fingernail too. Now I'm gonna open this and I'm gonna turn it. I'm gonna keep it face down now for the rest of the folds. And now I'm gonna, this is two sections, two equal sections. I'm gonna make it into 4. So the way I do that, and there's lots of ways to fold an accordion, but I'm gonna take this mountain fold. See, it looks like a mountain. Let me just, mountain versus valley. So mountain fold up. This is the back side of my paper, face up now. And I'm gonna pinch that and I'm gonna bring it up to that edge. Let me move up a little. I have to be able to see that. So you want to really line that up as precisely as possible. And then you're going to smush the fold that ended up underneath there. And then I'm going to take the bottom edge and bring that up to the top. And I'm lining up one corner and then the center. And then I press with my fingers and that makes it all line up. So now I see my front of my paper on top, but I'm going to open this again, face down, and I'm going to divide it into 8 sections. So I am going to carefully just fold along that fold I just made, one of those folds I made, that top one, and make it a mountain. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing I just did. I've made 2 folds to divide into 4. I'm going to make 4 folds to divide into 8. So I'm going to take that top mountain fold and fold that up to the edge. And this is just a way to make really precise folds. And then the next one is already a mountain. Hopefully it is for you too, if you're doing what I'm doing exactly. And we'll line that up, smush that fold underneath. The next one needs to be reversed. I need to make that into a mountain. And so then I'll fold that up to the top. And then at the end, I always have one loose edge that just folds up to the top. So I'm going to give you a minute to catch up. Let me know if you're having any issues. And once I'm done with that, it should look like this. I've got 8 sections now. And I'm just looking at everybody. I see some people working in tandem. Fun. Okay, if you know how to use reactions, click on the raise hand reaction to let me know you're done. Okay, lots of people. Great. Okay, I think enough are done, so we're going to move on. So again, I've got, let me switch back to where I can see my hands. I've got 8 sections. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit. I've got it wrong side facing up. And I just have to do the same series of things I did. I'm going to have to reverse that first fold. And then fold it up to the top. We're just going to do one more series, dividing this into 16, and then we'll be done with the accordion. So, and then every other one's going to already be a mountain. And I just like to go one at a time. In terms of reversing. And so now I've hit one I need to reverse. I'm just going to do that.
So Kathy is asking, can you start over? Maybe just start from what you just started right now.
Yeah, I can do that. I can't start all the way over, Kathy. Sorry, but this is being recorded. So I've got this face down, and I had to reverse. Let me start here. This is what it looked like. So I have to reverse the first fold so that it's a mountain. And then I pinch that mountain and gather it up, and I'm going to push it up to the top edge and flatten it. So I'm creating an accordion fold. The next one, the next fold is already a mountain. So I just bring that up to the edge and do the same thing. And then every alternating fold has to be reversed. This is a valley right now. I'm going to change it into a mountain. And then I'm going to work my way all the way down the sheet until I have 16 sections is what it will turn out. You don't need to be worrying about that, but at the end, it will be divided into 16 sections. And when I'm done, I see my display side on top. So the front, that little X I made at the beginning, is showing up at the top. So the reason we folded in this sequence with the paper upside down is so that now I'm going to put it face up and I've got a mountain on top. There are lots of different ways to do this, but just while we're all doing it together, it makes sense for me to show you and have you do it exactly the same way I am. And this is how I know that I'll have the correct side of my paper facing out. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute. Let's see. You can do the raised hand when you're done again. That's helpful. Okay, I'm going to wait for a few more. So just keep adding when you finish. Okay, let's, I'd really like everyone to be at this point, so I'm just gonna wait 1 or 2 more minutes. Keep
And
waiting. Yeah.
I just want to clarify to people about the reactions. The one that's actually the palm up raised hand, that one stays up so we can get an accurate count. All the others, the thumbs up, a smiley face, whatever, those are temporary reactions. So they're up for a minute, but then they drop down. So like right now we can see that there's 37 saying yes, done, ready. But for all the people that did a thumbs up, we've lost their response.
Thanks, Lori.
Mhm.
So yeah, we got 40 now. I'm going to try to get to 50 and then I'm going to move on. 42, but I see 5 people are using the
Yeah.
other kind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
Getting
close. We're close.
Yeah. Andrea says my last folds are 1/16 to 1/32 of an inch off. Will it still work?
Yeah, thanks. I'm so glad you said that. Making accordion, it takes a while to get accurate. So everything's you're just gonna have to like fudge it a little bit. Don't worry about trying to refold it though. It will work. And then you can make another one and it'll start looking better. Okay. All right. I'm gonna move on. We're at 44. That's about half.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we're gonna pleat. And I'm going to use glue stick and glue down my pleats. I think it makes it easier. But yeah, so go ahead. We're gonna do that. So first we're gonna take our pencil though, and we're gonna start.
Helen, can you
Yep.
just remind people about pattern side up or down?
Yeah, so we've got the pattern side up. And we're gonna write with a pencil all the way down. This is going to be hidden unless your pencil's really dark or something. So I might forget to say to erase your pencil, but you might want to later on, but it should be hidden. So I'm going to start at the top. If for some reason your paper has a top, mine does not. You want it, like if this is the top or this is the top, you want the top face up. And then so I've got these 16 sections. I'm going to use a pen just so you can see it. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just numbering all of the sections. This is going to help us with the pleating. Okay, and now we're going to get our glue stick. And the first thing we're going to do, now hopefully you can work along with me, or you're going to come back to the video because it's just going to work better if you can do this with me. I'm not changing any of the folds. They're all set. I'm going to turn it over, but I want to show you that I'm going to glue 1 to 2. So it's going to fold underneath. So I'm just going to turn it over to do that. And you can put glue on 1 and 2 because they're going to touch each other, right? So just glue that and then stick that down. So mine's upside down right now, and 1 is glued behind 2. And then what we're going to do, let me show you this one that's done. It's a little hard because I don't have light. Let me see if I can light it up. Not that well. Okay. So my top one is glued behind. I didn't glue this one though. And then we're going to skip one and then do another, skip one, do another. This is the pattern. We're going to do it all together. I just wanted to give you a little visual. So now we're going to take 5 to 4. And so take a look, you've got 2 layers at the top, just a single layer of paper. So you're skipping that one. And then when you glue 5 to 4, 6 ends up on top. You've actually got 3 layers of paper here. And I'm just gonna go down, we're gonna do 9 to 8, we skipped 7. And then 10 ends up on top, 11 is skipped, 13 to 14, no, 13 to 12, and then 16 goes underneath. Okay, I'm gonna do that actually now, but I just wanted you to see the pattern. And we're gonna be folding in the other direction next. That's why I like to glue this down, because this is a little difficult to hold. But if you can hold it up to your light, you'll see you get this alternating pattern, except for the bottom. The bottom looks a little different. Okay, so all I've done is I've glued 2 to 1. Now I'm going to glue 5 to 4. I'm just going to stay on the front. I glue 5 to 4. And 6 ends up on top. And then 8 to 9. Or 9 to 8. 10 ends up on top. 13 to 12. 14 ends up on top. Okay, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to catch up. Let's wait on that last one, because we're going to do some more gluing on the back, and we have to flip that over and glue that. So we can do that at the same time. So I've just glued the top to itself, and then 1, 2, 3 pleats. Hopefully that makes sense.
I think people are starting to put their hands up to let us know that they're caught up.
Okay, great. Sweet. Okay. I'm going to move on just for the sake of time. So now I do need to glue 16 underneath 15, but it's much easier to do that from the back side. So I'm flipping it over. I'm going to put glue on those 2 accordions, and I'll just fold that up. And then I'm going to go ahead, because these are pleats, I'm going to go ahead and glue these. Just take a look wherever you are. I'm going to put glue and glue these down. They should all go down, not up. You know, you could do it the wrong way. So I'm going to have to flip it up to put glue on it and then stick it down. And at that bottom, it's going to meet with what I just folded. So that's a little different, but then every other one is going to be 1 layer and then 3 layers. So I'm just going to go through, stick those down. Now we're doing this kind of quick, and if you do this again on your own, you might want to put a book on top, you know, to weight this down and make sure your pleats really stick. But we just really need them held to some degree right now. I'm seeing a few places I missed with glue. Okay, Carrie, you're lost with the pleats. Okay. I've got a few other sheets. Let me see if I can just show real quick. Let me find the right. Did you get the front side? It's hard to know where you're at. I'm just gonna do a real quick and then we're gonna move on. So let me just review. And this one already has these verticals. We're moving towards that. So here's my sheet. You can see all my accordions. I labeled them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 16. The first one, I folded 1 behind 2. And then I'm skipping 3 and I put 5 onto 4. And then 9 to 8. 13 on top of 12. And I glued all of those. And then I just flipped it over and put the bottom edge up onto the next layer. That's 16 onto 15 if you were looking at the other side. And then I just put glue underneath these open sections to keep everything flat. If you put the pleats on the wrong side, it shouldn't matter. I see your note, Diane. You should be able to, it doesn't really matter which is the top or the bottom. If you put, I mean, you could even have your front side. Yeah, it just will look a little different. This is pretty reversible. Okay, so now I want to move on and I just do this without a ruler. I don't know that I told you to bring a ruler. I can't remember. But if your paper is thick and bulky and causing you problems, you could score the lines we're going to do next. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to set my seam. I want to do that where the numbers are so that I'm going to cover that with glue and glue this end over there later. So make sure you've got where your numbers you can see. And then either you can score a 1/2 inch or a centimeter. This doesn't have to be exact. It'll work no matter what. Or you can just take and fold about a 1/2 inch. And again, it doesn't have to be exact. And you want to fold those. So you saw I flipped it over. I want those on the inside. So that's going to be the seam. Here's what we're going towards. Okay, and now I'm going to turn this. So I've got the front side, sorry. No. Sorry, I've got my X's there, but I need to erase those because now that's the back side because of the way I folded the paper. This is the back side. My numbers are folded in. And I want to take that folded edge and fold that up to the other end. And now mine is not going to line up perfectly. That is something maybe would never happen, or it might. So I'm going to line you can either center it or line one edge up. So the bottom of your lantern is straight, you know, when it sits on the table. That's the choice I'm making. I'm making the bottom edge straight. If your paper for some reason is really thick and you need to score that center, that's the center line. You should really measure what is the center. This is 10.5, so it would be 5.25. But I would measure it depending on how you folded that seam. And then we just have 2 more folds. So I'm going to do a little different. I'm not doing an accordion fold. I'm taking that center fold. I've got my paper still face down. And I'm going to fold both edges into the center. So my numbered edge with the seam folded, I'm going to fold that seam into the center. I'll crease this really well, because now I have several layers. And then I'm going to flip this around, keep that folded, and I'm going to fold the other end into the center as well. Okay, so now I've got 3 folds and the seam fold, so 4 total. And we're going to glue this together. And, but I want to show you one variation first, because some of you might want to do that. If this was hard for you, we'll come back and we'll glue it like this, and you'll have a lovely little cube light. But I want to show one variation, which requires another set of folds. So give me a reaction, hands up, if you're ready to move on. Raise hand. Okay, pretty good. Okay, so if you've had your fill of folding, just hold on to that and I'll show you how to glue that. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I'll glue that in a minute. But I just want to show you this variation, which just has the top glued together. And we have to do another set of folds to create that. So I've got a second one of these pre-folded, same exact thing. And now what I'm going to do is accordion fold this. And so if you want to do this, so look, this is the base, and then just has a closed top. It's kind of a fun form. Or you can just watch. You don't have to do this. You're going to take the mountain. I've got my seam up. It doesn't really matter which edge, but I'm going to start there. I've got all mountains here, and I'm going to fold them all up to that top edge, just to divide this into 8 sections. So I'm going to move pretty quick just for the sake of time. The last one's the same thing. It's a single edge, but it just has all those pleats in it. So it's a little different, and you maybe have to spend a little more time smushing everything. And sometimes I go in with my bone folder some of the folds want to pop out the other way because I have so many layers. So there's just some finessing that might have to happen. So I've got this. or this. And I'm gonna glue these all together in a minute. I'm gonna let you catch up. And then I'm gonna show you some variations. And then we'll see how we did. So I'm gonna need my glue stick again. One more minute. Okay. So now all I'm going to do is connect the ends. So let me just show you how I connect these two. So just the rectangle form, the box form, I will just put glue on top of my numbers. You could use double-sided tape for that as well. It's a nice, that'd be easy to do with tape, and it's a little bit stronger than glue stick. Tape would have been a pain in the butt for the other part we were doing though. So I'm going to press that and really make sure it sticks. The extra creases, yes, that's what I was just talking about. So I have some too. See these extra creases? Go in with your bone folder, or if you don't have a bone folder, something like your ruler, and press those. You can press them back out in the right direction. And sometimes some of them you can just work into the fold and get them to press out. So it's because we have so many layers. They don't know quite what to do. Okay. Okay, so I press that and there is my box shape. With this one, everything's folded correctly. And this is something I've done for many years and figured out because sometimes it ends up where your fold isn't in the right place. So I just gonna overlap this and I'll have a seam. So I'm gonna put glue on that seam, and then I'm gonna just take this edge and overlap it. I want the seam on the inside, so it is, you'll see it in there, but the outside of the star will look, you can hardly see that there's a seam. Sometimes at the edges, your little pleats are going to pop up. You could put a little more glue. So now this is just a 4-point star. And what I did to make the top come together is put some glue on the inside of that top edge. So now I'm just going to go in carefully. I like to work against the hard surface, so I'm going to have to lift it a little bit. It's a little awkward with the shape of the glue stick. And get glue along that top edge. It really doesn't matter which is the top or bottom. And then I'm going to pinch it together. That's going to, and you can even flatten it. This is collapsible. You could make these and send them in an envelope. So I really want that to stick. So I'm going to press for a moment. And then I want to show you two kinds of tea lights. I put this one in the chat. This is my favorite. It's the brightest that I've found. And it's a screw-on. And you have to buy, I've never found them individually. You have to buy 12. It's like $10 for 12 of these They do come in color changing, so where the color gradually changes, which is fun, or white. And so I can stick it in there. Again, I've got a lot of light in here, so you're not going to see it, but it lights up really well. And then this one, you know, I've got room down here that I can just set this on top. And now you can really see, this is containing the light more because the light isn't coming out the top of this. So this is a true tea light topper. And you can, I think you can start to see the pleating show up. Okay. And just, I know some people probably have to leave right at the top of the hour, so I just want to get through real quick. Another variation. So these two are very similar, just like the square and this. I don't have a name for it. The X. This is just folded down again into 16 sections. So I get more of a star shape. So remember, this was folded into 8 sections. Now this is 16. And I just glued the edge the same way. And then if you gather all these and put glue around the top, you get this form, which is kind of fun. And then there's so many things. I spent Thanksgiving kind of playing with all this. So here's a hexagon. So hexagons aren't accordion folded. It's a little bit different. So I had to figure out just the dimension. And if you want to try this and write this down, or this is being recorded, I had an 8" by 8.5" sheet. And these panels are 1 1/4 inches times 6 equals the 8.5. So I just figured the sheet size to make a nice, easy number to divide. And then this one, I can't remember anymore. I think this is maybe a little bit wider, just based on, but all I did was I put glue and attached, sorry, my hands are in the way. So I glued each seam to itself like this, so that I got these fun angular, curvy sides. So that's just another idea. I folded a little tiny one in kite paper. If anyone has kite paper, this is translucent for making Waldorf stars. And it's only 6 by 6 inches, so it became smaller. So you can change the size of these. You can use all kinds of papers. Here's just another fun paper for just the box. This one I didn't glue at all, so you don't have to glue those pleats down, but see how the seams at the seam, those pleats stick out, so you would want to glue those down. And finally, because pleats, you can reach in with like a hole punch, you know, just like a punch like this. You can punch. Now I would do this before I assembled the whole thing, but you get the idea here. This one, I only did 1 pleat. This is one of the first ones I did. And it looks fun when it's illuminated. It's just got a band of stars around the center. And then I do have a top and bottom fold over. It just gives it more support when you have the fold at the top and the bottom. All right. I hope you had got a lot of ideas and had fun. And I'd love to see if people want to hold up what they made. If you have to go, that's fine, but I'll stay on for another 5 minutes. We could look at some people's. Ooh, look at you guys. Beautiful. I'm going to take a couple screenshots here. And then I would love to see some up close. We'll spotlight a few of you. If you want to, what should they do for you to spotlight them, Lori?
Now use the raised hand option if you want to be spotlighted. Show yours individually. The first one to put their hand up will be the first one to show. Okay.
Great.
Yeah. So, Betty, I'm gonna spotlight you.
Pretty plain, but this was fun. I have a quick question on the last one you showed us. Do
Yeah.
you do the extra folding before or after you put the top edge and the bottom edge folded in?
What do you mean by extra folding?
You said you folded in the top edge and the bottom edge.
Yeah, I do all of those folds. So the top
And
edge, the
then-
bottom edge, and that central pleat. And
Okay,
then
and
I
then
do
you
all-
do, then you do these pleats, yeah.
yes. And
Okay.
then I would punch. I would kind of unfold it and lift up and punch because you want the stars to fall in the sections if you're gonna
Right.
punch. Yeah.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming. All right.
Christy,
Hi,
You're-
Christy.
you're muted.
You're muted. You can't unmute. Okay.
There we go.
Oh, good. Look at that. What is that paper?
It's just student grade calligraphy, rice
Yeah.
paper.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Looks great with the stars.
Yeah, and
Thank
printed.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks for
You're
coming.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Terry,
Hi, can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
And my favorite Tyvek, I used the Tyvek again,
Oh, awesome.
and it just worked really well. I have the changing color light in it, but
Oh,
it's fun.
beautiful.
It's the one, it's the one here with the top glue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that worked out nice.
Fantastic. There
Yeah.
you see how the color changing lights work. So fun. Yeah.
They were fun.
Okay. Thanks, Terry.
Andrea,
Hi, Andrea. Looks great.
Thanks.
oh, sorry.
Yeah. Nice work. Do you have a flickering light? There are flickering tea lights too.
Sorry, she's muted.
Sorry. Yeah.
Great.
So yeah, this is one of my flickering tea lights that
Yeah.
I just had around. I had a question. If
Uh-huh.
I were going to use Tyvek, it seems like I could then put them outside, which would be kind of exciting.
Mhm.
Do you have any suggestions about ways to weigh them down if they are outside so they don't blow over?
Yeah, maybe if you could somehow, my first thought is to somehow have a base,
Mm-hmm.
that you could put a rock in there with the tea light, or the tea light might hold it down.
So
Um,
like a box, kind of like a cardboard box type thing.
Yeah, I was thinking of how could you build a base into the lantern, but that would be complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's multiple answers to that. I don't have a great one right off the bat.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. Cornelia,
Okay. Yeah, unmute yourself.
yeah.
You're still muted. Oh, there's your lantern.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Yeah, you did the closed top. Oh, and you have the little cherry bark in your paper. Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye. Okay.
Lynn,
Yeah, this is it's
Oh.
so late here, but it's a jelly print on a Japanese paper.
Oh, beautiful.
And I actually started with a pretty small sheet and it worked fine. It's like a 1/2 by
Okay.
11.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Cute. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ellen, I have
Uh,
a question.
Okay.
It's Diane. I just have a question.
About heavier paper.
Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm working on a project with it's going to be the tops of Torahs, like the crowns on Torahs. And this looked like it was just a perfect way to go. Can you use a heavier paper to do this? Or it probably would be very, very difficult.
Yeah, I think you could, if you don't need the pleating, just skip that. Just fold the paper do the verticals with a
Because I-
heavier paper.
Because I'm working with, I've tried using, I mean, I might have some prints that were done on a lighter paper on a hanji, and which I might be able to do the pleating, but I have done some beautiful photopolymer intaglios. And then this would lend itself really nicely to the 3-dimensional aspect. So I was really excited about this workshop today for that reason. And it's just been wonderful. Thank you so, so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Melita, go back to Melita. There we go.
Oh, what's that paper?
I wish I knew. I bought it years ago in a package that just said mulberry paper, and I've
Okay.
never been able to find it. It's kind of a little bit heavier.
Uh-huh.
And it's a maroon wine color, and I just decided to put the colored light in it
Oh,
because I saw
yeah.
the first one. And I thought, ooh, that's kind of cool.
It really changes the color of the maroon as it goes through. Yeah. Nice. Thank you.
Okay, and Dorothy is, there we go.
Hi, Dorothy.
You're muted.
Hi, Helen.
Good to see you. Oh, look at you. You did something.
This one, I
unique.
did it without gluing one of the pleats,
Uh-huh.
and so it became a 4, like a little hat.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
I'm sorry I
yeah.
don't have a tea light, but
That's okay. Beautiful.
anyway.
That's another variation. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play with those pleats in all kinds of ways.
It's great. Thank you, Helen.
Yep. Thank you.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
there's some suggestions in
Yeah, I
that.
see those. Let me read those.
Okay, yeah.
For putting them outside. So Shauna suggests punching holes in the bottom and using earth staples. Okay, I was thinking, so you would have to put it into the ground. I have not heard of earth staples. That's cool. Tape the lantern to the light to hold it down. That's an idea. Amy says to make an outdoor luminaria, instead of gluing the bottom fold, let it lie flat, fold corners, then cut a base piece of paper to the same dimension as the walls and shape. Square, star, hexagon, then adhere row 16 when it's lying flat. That's a great idea if you understood that. So you would put the cardboard or whatever you want base under. Now you need to have an open top to be able to get the light in and out. So there's a lot of little engineering things related. Cool. Any last questions? Thanks so much for coming, everyone. That was fun. All right.